I'm JJ Arisha, Managing Director of Trenchant Ventures, and I'm also a member of Techco's Angels. And you're watching FACETS Television.
Welcome to FACETS Television. I am Kevin McDonald. Today we are recording at the Anaheim Convention Center where Disney is holding its annual Academy of the Masters. This evening we will be watching the annual Masters Hall of Fame Awards, and we will also be interviewing many of America's top martial artists. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the show. So it's pretty amazing having Moose Alceida sitting here with me today, and I'd like you to tell me, what do you think of the Academy of the Masters?
Well, it's a really great organization with a lot of great leadership and directed towards not only community events but also events for the kids and martial arts in general.
So where do you, what part of the country do you come from?
I'm from the Los Angeles area.
So in Los Angeles, do you work with children directly? Do you have your own studios? What is your involvement in the
I work
Academy?
at a dojo that's mixed martial arts, and it's run by a fellow from former UFC referee called Big John McCarthy. And in particular, I teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we have kids classes there, yes.
Now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has become quite a bit of the soup du jour during the martial arts fighting because of the MMA and so on and so forth. Why do you think that the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's had such success in the world of MMA?
Well, I think once the UFC started back in the early 90s, the martial arts community looked at a different perspective in martial arts. Now the Brazilians essentially developed a ground fighting art from basic Japanese jiu-jitsu. So they took that to another level, and in the UFC we saw that you need to have ground fighting skills as part of your martial arts if you're going to get into that type of combat arena where it's mixed martial arts. So martial artists in general found it a valuable tool to add into their training.
That's fantastic. Do you believe that we're seeing a resurgence through the martial arts, but are we going to see with the new Karate Kid movie, are we going to see a push back towards traditional martial arts, do you think?
I think so. I think I grew up in the traditional martial arts in the 60s practicing Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, and now a lot of the traditional dojos to meet the demands of the community have mixed it up a little bit from the traditional. They've added other components in to keep their students. And I think the movies that are coming out now kind of bring that back to your roots of traditional martial arts, and it's good for the martial arts community to kind of remember where we came from.
I agree with that. I think that the philosophy and the ethical drive and the mentoring programs and all of that was something that not necessarily was lost in the MMA, but was certainly being just diluted or blurred somewhat, and I'm excited to see it come back.
Yeah, some of the bigger martial arts dojos really have a terrific children's program or young adult program, and they really their leaders in there, their black belts, are really strong leaders for the young kids and role models for young kids in their development. It is a good program. So
my last question quickly is, if you were to be advising a parent in how to decide how to choose a dojo, what would you recommend to them?
Specifically, I recommend that they go in and watch the classes, watch how the instructors interact with the kids, how they what they do, what their conduct is like, how much attention each individual child gets. Because in some of the larger dojos, if you have one instructor and 20 to 30 kids, your child may get lost in there. And at some point you want some individual attention for your child. So you're really looking, the interaction of that child with the instructor is key. The other things that you can do when you go visit is to talk to the other parents and see how long they've been there, see what they like, what they dislike about the dojo, and maybe visit a few before you make your final decision. In almost any urban community, there's many choices in training in the martial arts, so your parents do have a lot of options as far as that's concerned. and you are looking for a good role model, someone that you can leave your child there and entrust in them that they're going to get some good training, and they're going to be with other kids that are supportive of their training as well.
It's an important decision. I really want to thank you for coming and spending the time with us, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
With me is Daniel Heck, the CEO of the Masters Hall of Fame. We are at the Disney Convention Center in Anaheim at the Disney Academy of the Masters. Daniel, thank you for agreeing to talk with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Masters Hall of Fame is all about?
Well, the Masters Hall of Fame's primary focus is to recognize excellence in the martial arts. We do that in a couple different ways. One way we do this is we honor the people who have been there, the people that have 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the martial arts that continue to give in and out daily on the martial arts community. The other things that we do are we recognize and develop excellence in tournaments like we see here. We find young and upcoming martial artists, we give them a vehicle to provide leadership mentoring with them and give them a vehicle to excel in what they're trying to do.
So I've seen some amazing young people here today. I mean, many of these children must be starting at the earliest age. Are you looking to mentor them up into the program? Is that part of why the Academy of the Masters exists?
That's correct. That is correct. What we're doing with the Academy of Masters is finding the kids that show potential and giving them some direction and putting them with the right mentoring process.
Are there actual competitions going on here today?
Yes, there's several competitions going on. We have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament going on. We have the Promoters Championship, which is a national championship tournament. It is an invitational only tournament, so you've got to have competed in a local tournament someplace in the United States and won to be invited to this tournament, to the Disney Martial Arts Festival Promoters Championship. We also have an open traditional karate and Kempo tournament going on. It's like 5 or 6 different tournaments going on under the same roof. It's a very unique concept, and it's a very great concept.
So the Masters Hall of Fame Awards Dinner, can you explain to the audience how it is that someone ends up as an inductee in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, in your Masters Hall of Fame?
In the Masters Hall of Fame, yes I can. Thank you for asking, by the way. To become a Masters Hall of Fame inductee, a nominee to start off with, you have to be recognized by some of our ambassadors, the peers in our organization that reach out into the martial arts community and find the best of the best. They get the information on that inductee. We do a background and vet that person to make sure that they are the quality of martial artists that we really want in our organization. And so there's a vetting process. After we vet that person, then we induct the best of the best.
Now I understand it also has a lot to do with the reflection of things they do in the community, how they're extending their martial arts into influencing children and business and whatever else. Is that true?
Very good point. Yes, it is. In fact, last year, one of our inductees was Riverside County Sheriff Stan Sniff. He's a traditional Japanese karate guy, and he contributes martial arts to his success. He was a retired colonel in the Army, sheriff of the second largest county in the United States. This year we've got Colonel Curry coming in, Gerald Curry. He's an Air Force full-bird colonel, 8th degree black belt in Goju-Ryu. He contributes his success to his training in the martial arts. So it's not just competing. You know, a martial artist is multifaceted, as you know, and they're good at everything. You know, they're not just good at karate, they're not good at kicking and punching, which is an important part, but they need to have a rounded balance in life. We want a full-rounded person that's going to come and join this organization to mentor our children. One of the things that we do is we give scholarships out to influence our kids to go to school. That's a big push that we're doing. We want them to be academics, not warrior scholars. You know, that's kind of a push. That's a term that I coined in my thesis in my master's degree as a warrior scholar.
Well, you know, I certainly can appreciate that, because as a martial artist myself, I found that the push for the ethics and the drive and the no fear and the being willing to do the things that generally the average person won't do has absolutely influenced my success in my real life. And you know, everything from writing an article where other people are going to read it to, you know, because you're worried about critique, and you don't worry about that when you've been in the arts for a period of time. It's all kinds of amazing things. Where do you see the Masters Hall of Fame in 10 years?
Well, right now we are doing some great things with a lot of different organizations. One is the Disney Martial Arts Festival. We are going to be here for a long time. We really like Disney. Disney has been wonderful to us. Another organization that came to us is the World Karate Organization, WKO. We'll be joining them. We're going to try to bring the world here. This is breaking news. We're going to try to bring the world here in 2 years. I have to meet with the leadership of the other countries, but I think I can sell coming to Disneyland. Who doesn't want to be at Disneyland, right?
I would agree,
Happiest place
yes,
in the world.
absolutely.
So those are a couple of the organizations that we're going to partner with and develop relationships with. The Masters Hall of Fame, it continues to grow. I took it over, I want to say 4 years ago, and we had 185 people show up for banquet dinner, for a black tie dinner. We're nearly 500 now, and it's been 4 years.
That's a phenomenal success, and again, I think that goes directly to the discipline and the no fear and so on and so forth. I want to thank you sincerely for spending the time to talk to me, and I really look forward to watching the Masters Hall of Fame over the next several years and seeing the award ceremony tonight, so thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm here with Joe Hanlon, and Joe Hanlon is an 8th degree in Cho Shin Ken martial arts. Thank you for coming. So what do you think of the event?
Oh, this event it's the happening place right here on a Saturday afternoon. The master ceremonies tonight, that's going to be a great deal also. I can't wait to that.
Are you involved in the actual tournament?
Yes, sir. I got the grappling tournament on today, and we got a good turnout. A lot of fun so far.
Yeah, I've been fascinated to watch, especially some of the young people who apparently have really put a lot of effort and discipline into learning their arts and impressing the masters. I'm really fascinated by that. As you go into the dinner tonight, what are you thinking?
You know, it's just anticipation. You know, it's like meeting old friends, meeting new friends, you know, and of course getting awards and induction and all that stuff. And I just can't wait for it to start. You know.
So if you were to tell a young person that's thinking about starting into the martial arts, or even one who's thinking about quitting, what would you tell them?
You know, you got to pursue your dreams, you know, but whether it's martial arts or anything else, you got to pursue it. Sure, you know, martial arts, it's a way of life for me, you know, as well as everyone here also. But yeah, they just got to stick with it, you know. It's, you know, it's you know, I've been doing it for 40 some odd years, and it's helped me a lot, you know, as far as discipline and, you know, giving respect to those that deserve respect and everything else, you know. So, but yeah, it's, you know, I tell them the same thing, you know, I stick with it, you know, you got to do it.
How'd you get started?
Actually, my dad's a second degree Nippon Kimpo black belt. Second guy to get a black belt in Japan. He's got documentation and everything. And on my 7th birthday, he took me into a judo school, and that's how I got started.
And you've been doing it ever since?
Been doing it ever since.
Well, congratulations on your induction.
Oh, thank you.
And
very much.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. I'm here with Ron, the Yak Man Yacovetti. Okay, Ron, I have to ask you, why the Yak Man?
Well, it was a brand. I wish I was the one that could say I was smart enough to come up with it, because it actually stuck. I worked with Pro Elite and Elite XC, who were the first mixed martial arts promotions to put MMA on pay cable with Showtime, and then CBS, first one on network TV. And one of the people in the office who worked at the promotion shortened my last name, Yakovetti, and said Yak Man, like just, you know, like Pac-Man, like for Pacquiao, I guess, in boxing. It stuck, and then I commentate now for 9 different mixed martial arts promotions across the U.S. and Canada. And as I started doing interviews with like fighters from either the UFC or from wherever, I started using the name as like a lark, and it stuck. And people would know that anywhere I went in MMA, and didn't even know my full name, but they would know that. So that's where it came from. Again, I wasn't the guy smart enough to come up with it, but I'm smart enough to keep it.
So you have no idea how much fun I'm going to have then having you on the opposite side of being a commentator. I mean, it's kind of weird for you?
To be interviewed?
Yeah.
It is, but you know, because I've gotten so much exposure in MMA as a commentator, it happens more often than it used to, and I enjoy it because you know, it gives me a chance to, you know, to express thoughts and ideas instead of soliciting those from other people, and the commentating thing is just fun. I mean, I admire anybody from traditional martial arts to, which I've done myself, to mixed martial artists, either if they're in a ring or a cage, and what they do, it's an athleticism and a discipline level that's really, to me, unprecedented almost in all professional sports.
So what do you think of the Disney Academy of the Masters? I mean, to me, it's just a pretty amazing thing to have this going on.
One of the things about the Academy of the Masters and the whole honoring and inducting people into the Masters Hall of Fame that I think is great is that all the traditional martial arts, even the ones into mixed martial arts, everything came from somewhere, and to honor the people or acknowledge the people who were founders of or carrying the torch from the founders of, I think that's crucial. To not lose, as mixed martial arts legend Frank Shamrock always says, to lose the honor side and the martial way from the beginning is key, to not lose that. So anything that instills that and honors the people who teach, whether it's Taekwondo or if it's point sparring or weapons training or whatever it is that's happening, Jiu-Jitsu here, I think it's crucial to honor those people and to acknowledge those who have brought it forward from where it came.
I agree. I've heard a couple of comments today, and I kind of have a tendency to come around to the circle of you can't win without tradition and ethics and you know, the mentoring of people below you, so that there's a reason for others to want to come up and do what you're doing. What are you doing here today, actually?
I am doing just some announcing and lending help to a buddy of mine, Joe Hanlon, who's a very well-accomplished stand-up striker and Muay Thai and kickboxer, and he's working with the Jiu-Jitsu tournament part in the back here that they're doing at the Disney thing, and so he's a good friend of mine. Anything that anybody that I'm friends with is involved with in the martial arts world or something like this, if I could be of help, I've done. I just did a charity fundraiser, commentating for a show in the Midwest of the U.S. 2 weeks ago. So anything to be involved and give back that I can do. So I'm just lending my voice and whatever personality I have. Hopefully you're seeing some of that as a commentator and announcer, whatever, just to be a part of it.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to stop and talk to us. I know we pulled you right off the mat just a few minutes ago, so I really do appreciate it. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anytime I can get pulled aside and not have somebody ask to see my driver's license, it's okay with me.
There you go, right on.
My pleasure.
You. I'm Kevin McDonald, and with me is Mark Shuey Sr. He is a 10th degree Grandmaster and the founder of Cane Masters, an American cane system. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us today. Can you explain a little bit about what your style or your system is all about, please?
I sure can. Started the system back in '95 when I started getting everything down, because I made canes. Nobody was selling a decent cane, especially for a martial artist. And I started the system in '99 is when it came to fruition. It took me 4 years to get it all designed and developed. And mainly started out with just doing self-defense, showing people how the cane works. It's a medical device that you can take on any airplane. You can walk through Senate buildings, which I have done, and you're allowed to carry them anywhere.
It's a very valid point, and I know that a lot of martial artists need them because we have bad knees. So,
and backs.
yeah, it's true. It's true, and shoulders now, which I'll have to move to the left hand. How did you go about developing the system? This is an interesting opportunity for me to be able to ask that question.
Well, I had to do the cane because I'm a Hop Keto stylist also. I started out with Chuck Norris in Tong Sudo, and then I went to actually Taekwondo, then Hop Keto. And Hop Keto, when you get to do your 3rd degree black belt, you have to do a cane part, at least in the system I was in. And so I did my 15 techniques and threw it away because I was too macho to carry a cane around. And then in the 90s, found a wider crook cane. This will go around someone's neck very easily, go around any limb they have.
Yep,
and
no matter how big the leg is.
Yep. And it's also about a 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch larger than any cane you find out in the regular drugstores. And it's super strong. We've had it tested against baseball bats and lead pipes, and it works great.
So if I may, you'll notice there's stippling on here, and explain that to me.
Right. Well, these, I used to call them shark's teeth. They're used for raking, and they really hurt. And now I call them band holders because it doesn't sound as obtrusive when you go through the airports. And it'll break small bones in your hand. It's very devastating. The grips on it up here in the front and the bottom are so you can hold it. If you're going to pull somebody, use the bottom grip, et cetera, depending on what you want to do. And the horns, we make a bunch of different coins. We make the canes ourselves, by the way.
Yeah.
And the horns, this one here is a bird's head. It's pretty nasty. It'll take out a kidney without a problem.
Yeah, and or some other interesting parts of the body as well.
It's amazing. There's thousands of techniques with a cane.
So if someone wants to learn this technique and they don't live in your area, have you put out videos? Or
we have 18 videos.
Okay.
They're all different. None of the videos are the same. I have some of my other cane masters now making videos. And it's just fun. No matter where I go, and people see me with it, especially when I perform or just walk around spinning it, I get questions on it.
So what do you think about the Masters Hall of Fame?
Masters Hall of Fame, I'm one of the ambassadors. I think it's great. It's one of the real ones out there. There's so many of them now. Every style has their own Hall of Fame, but the Masters has a great Hall of Fame. They really do.
Well, then, as one of the ambassadors, explain to me a little bit about how you go about the nomination process.
Well, I have about 3,500 members in my organization right now.
Okay.
I'm only 10 years old, so it's pretty new.
Yeah. You're looking good for 10.
Thank you. I'm actually 39.
Oh.
But anyway, I check out who I think deserves something, and then I'll send them a request to see if they want to be recognized by the Cane Masters Hall of Fame. And I usually try to send them about 20 to 30 people at a time. And I think it's a great organization because they have scholarships and stuff, where a lot of these Hall of Fames, they just want your money.
Right.
And I mean, I've had some where I've sat next to a guy who weighs 700 pounds and
can't move, and
he tells me he's a 10th degree in 10 different styles, and it's crazy. So the Masters is real.
I was fascinated by the formality of the Masters here. I mean, they ask for a lot of background information. They want independent verification of your involvement with whoever. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that I saw in that process that was quite
they're real. They don't let anybody in there. You have to be, number one, inducted by or asked to be part of it by an ambassador. Right. And then usually if the ambassador checks them out, they're okay.
So you're here at the Academy of the Masters. Do you have, I wanted to ask a question. These are large. Do you have these for young people?
Yes. I kind of slowed down on the young people. They love playing with it because you can spin it and twirl it, but the cane's really dangerous. And they started spinning the cane without looking, hitting their friends and breaking things in their houses and stuff. So I'd like to see them around, depending on the person, of course, 12 to 14 is I don't want to start them before then. I was starting them around 8 to 10, but they just don't realize how nasty a cane can be. The problem is most people think the cane's a crutch.
Right.
They don't have the slightest idea what it can do. But if you look at it as a martial arts weapon, it's a billy club with a meat hook.
Yeah.
And you can get on an airplane first with it.
Yeah.
So it's really quite a unique tool. And at the time I started, very, very few schools, maybe 0.1% were even teaching it. Because when I thought of it, I looked in every magazine, every book I could find. Nobody's making a good cane, and nobody's really teaching it. And not until you're a 3rd or 4th degree black belt. Right. And by then, you don't need it until you start getting crippled up, which happens when you get to be 39 or 40.
Yeah, that's true. And I'd say 43 is when I lost the first meniscus, right? So
Oh yeah, I mean I got rods and bolts in my back and everything else. Yeah. But it's a great device. It's getting some of the old timers back into it because they can't go out there and do the regular kicks and stuff. And with the cane, they're thanking me, saying, "Oh wow." and it's just fun to play with.
And it's good for the heart.
Oh.
I mean, you know.
I have a complete rehabilitation
levels.
system. Yeah, and a complete exercise system. That is awesome.
Well, that's fantastic. Grandmaster, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us
Thank you
today.
very much for inviting me to talk. It's great.
Thank you.
Grandmaster Fred Brewster has nominated for the Pioneer Award in Kempo, Sandan, Kevin McDonald.